Excuse me if this creepypasta is kind of bad. This is my very first one, and I've never tried writing anything like this before. So, feel free to tell me how the creepypasta is in the comments below. Thank you. June 9th, 2006. Hello. If you're hearing this, never fall for this trick that I'm going to tell you about. The trick that I unfortunately fell for on one cold evening several years ago. See, I'm what you would call an average teen, just looking for a job. My goal was simply to save up for a car for work and for school. I was looking on Craigslist for any job at all, as long as it sounded easy and simple. I found a job not too far into my search for a night watchman in a house that wasn't far from mine at all. It said an elder couple would be on vacation that week, so someone needed to come watch over the night and see if nothing was robbed and nothing was damaged around the house. It sounded easy to me, just sitting down most of the day looking at the cameras. It sounded boring, honestly, but the money it gave sounded really good, and the chances of being robbed, especially in a house like this, were very slim. As long as it paid, it wouldn't be so bad. And besides, I could find a way to keep myself entertained during the work. And honestly, it didn't sound bad to me. I wish I had just kept scrolling for another job besides this one. But it was too late. The house that I would soon arrive to would become my worst nightmare. I arrived less than 10 minutes to my new job. It was practically almost dark out by this point, and I arrived at my new job that I'd be staying at for almost a week. The house that I was assigned to looked very small, but it had a beautiful garden, and I decided to take a walk around the garden to get a good look at what the house's outside was like. It looked very beautiful in the garden, and the backyard was like a large green field. It also had a shed in the backyard. I tried to access it, but it was locked tight, and I was unfortunately not gifted the keys that were required to unlock the shed door. While I was trying to get into the shed, I heard something rummaging around inside. It honestly sounded like a raccoon in there, or a small animal, so I ignored the sound and continued to venture through the large garden. During my time walking around, however, I felt as if I was being watched by some evil presence that followed me wherever I went during my walk. It was getting way too dark out, and I was honestly very creeped out, so I went inside to venture through my new job. Before I could walk in, I saw something behind me. I looked and I saw it, and I realized that it was a small concrete gnome that was crouched down. Its face was in horrible condition. Well, not just the face. The whole damn thing was. It gave me a bad vibe, so I turned back around and walked inside my new job. When I walked inside the house, it smelled like old people as soon as I walked in. I could tell that elder people lived here just by the way the room looked. The room had a bunch of windows all throughout the room, and it honestly looked like a comfy place to stay out already. I saw a small screen that was turned off, and a sticky note that said, "Use for cameras, don't overuse," that was put on the camera. I knew that this was where I would mostly stay, and it was fine with me. That's when I noticed something by the door that led to the rest of the house. A small doll, just about 2 feet tall, just stood in the very corner of the room, facing away from me as if it were in timeout. It creeped me out considering how tall the doll was and how ominous it looked in the dark corner of the room. It gave me a weird vibe, but I eventually ignored the doll as something else also caught my attention. A piece of paper was on the table located in the middle of the room that said, "Turn back before it's too late." This creeped me out, and with the damn doll in the corner of the room, it honestly didn't make it better. I thought that maybe someone wanted to play a prank on me, and I eventually forgot about the note. While I was exploring, I jumped when I heard the old pickup phone ring. I picked it up, and it sounded like one of my coworkers calling me. He was supposed to call me to explain how my job was and how to do it. I was honestly relieved to hear him, after what I saw. He began to explain how the job worked and some interesting things.
Hello? Oh, hello, Kyle. Welcome to your new job. Great to hear from you again. So, you're in the house, right? The couple house? Alright, good. So, I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing there. Basically, a couple going on vacation and asking you to do the job and everything. They pay really well, surprisingly, even though it's probably boring there. Probably is boring there. I could probably tell. Anyways, your job here is simple, and it really is, actually. All you gotta do is watch the cameras with that little screen thing that should be somewhere in the room. Probably where you're at right now. Probably where you're at right now, which I'm guessing is the living room. Just check that once in a while, and don't overuse it as much. It runs on power, yeah, which is pretty stupid. Also, don't leave your room unless you're like hungry or want to use the bathroom, because I don't know why. I don't know why the couple just wanted you to stay there the whole entire time. Apparently, not going to the shed that's locked for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, the kitchen is like right outside the room on your left, and the bathroom will be pretty easy to find. You have to stay here from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. and you will be fine. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Alright, talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, this job was gonna be a breeze, I thought to myself while drinking a still warm shot of coffee I made prior. I kept my eyes on the doll that resided in the very corner of the room, waiting for anything to happen, but nothing. It was very quiet. I mean super quiet. Like, no noise at all. Not even the crickets chirping. Through the silence, I thought of the cameras that I should have checked. I saw a large button on the camera, but the text on it faded. This must have been the button to activate the camera system, I thought. I pressed the button, and the red light on the bottom of the screen activated, as the screen that led outside slowly faded in. Through the screen, I could see a driveway that led to the house, and I could see my car parked in front of it. These babies really do work, I mumbled to myself. I flipped through the cameras that led to the other parts of the house. I saw a backyard, a hallway, and what appeared to be a bathroom and other bedrooms. And a kitchen, of course. But something caught me off guard. I was surprised to see on one of the cameras that there was another one of those creepy dolls. The camera was located right behind the doll, as the doll faced away from the camera against the corner of the wall. I didn't know where this part of the house was, but it must have been the living room, considering that it had the same wall textures as the living room did. The doll looked different. Unlike the one in my room, it looked very similar, with the white hat instead of a blue garden one, like the one in my room did. What were these dolls for, and why were they like this? I thought to myself. I checked the cameras while freaked out and confused. At that moment, I had to use the restroom. I didn't know exactly where that was located either, but I knew with how big the house was, I'd find it quickly. I opened the door and was greeted by two paths. The first one led to the kitchen that was all the way on the right. The second one, on the left, led to the laundry room. I walked through the kitchen and saw the living room. Then, of course, as I expected, that's where the other doll was. I walked past the doll while looking at it. They made these fuckers too human, I thought. I found a hallway, exactly how it looked on the cameras, in the bathroom. I closed the door quietly and minded my own business while taking a leak. While washing my hands in the bathroom, I heard a large thud at the door. What the hell? I screamed. Hello? No response. That freaked me the fuck out. I waited in the room for what felt like minutes. Then, out of nowhere, another large thud hit the door. I jumped and stayed quiet. Why was I scared? I thought. I have a job to do. I opened the door to find nothing. The first thing that somehow popped up in my mind was those damn dolls. I ran to where the doll was to find on the same spot, but I had fallen over on the floor. I looked around the house multiple times before walking back to my room. Still clearly shaken, I looked at my computer for a while, and nothing happened that night. It hit 6 after what felt like hours, and I got out of there for the day. That whole day at my house, I slept and I was tired, but I thought about those thuds and bangs at the door. What or who did that? And what knocked the doll over? All these questions ran through my head. See, the human body instinctively thinks of why something unexplainable happens whenever you see something like that happen. Well, the freakiest thing was, my mind could not come up with one. Did an animal get in? What happened? I knew it'd be only a matter of time before my next shift. I wasn't scared for my shift to start, more like confused and wondering what will happen next. Before you knew it, the second night of my job was about to start. I arrived at around 11:30 this time, later than usual, but still a good 20 minutes before my shift actually started. Again, I got the same feeling that I was being watched. Since it was completely dark out, and all I could see was my room, I felt like something could be outside one of those windows and I wouldn't even notice. My mind tends to work like that in situations like these. Even though I'm long past the age of being a kid, my overactive imagination still stuck with me. At exactly 12, the phone rang. My coworker picked up, but sounded very confused. He asked,
Hey, fella. So it says that this house has been used in years, and the elderly couple lived here years ago. Yeah, I talked to the manager, and he said it would be best to leave at once, like right off the bat, as it could be a trap.
"A trap? A trap? What do you mean a trap?" I walked toward the door in confusion. When I tried to open it, it wouldn't budge. That's when I heard movement right behind me. I turned around to see that doll in the corner of the room, facing me, still in the same corner of the room, but looking directly at me. "What the fuck?" I yelled. "Okay, this isn't funny. Who is there?" I yelled, but no response whatsoever. Just complete silence besides the clock ticking and the faint sound of my heart beating. I moved to another corner of the room in panic. Why did it move? It wasn't moved before, so why is it moved now? The feeling of dread and being watched grew stronger as I slowly approached it. I'm not a dumb person, so I approached it armed with a sweeper. That's when the lights cut off. I heard nothing. Complete silence. Before I could be attacked by whoever or whatever is doing this, the lights turned on. Luckily, the thing was gone. I ran toward the door that led outside the house again, but all attempts to open the door failed as it wouldn't budge again. I didn't want to walk around outside the door or around the house, but I knew I had to. That doll, or whatever it was watching me, and I knew it. I know it was a dumb move considering that the damn doll could be anywhere, but it was worth the shot. I turned on the cameras to see around the house if there was any troubles that had awaited me throughout the house. The first thing that I checked was to see if that other doll moved. But before I could get to that camera, I saw the backyard camera that the shed was glowing green. Like, not the whole shed, but the windows to the shed, at least through the camera, were glowing a faint but noticeable green color. I looked at the window where the shed was. I looked out my window where the shed was, and I could faintly see the windows of the shed glowing even from the window. That's when I thought of the weird noises I heard yesterday from the shed, and something added up. Something or someone was back there, and I needed to check the shed so nothing gets damaged tomorrow. I will check the shed tomorrow, but now is not the time. I almost forgot that I was being watched as I was checking the cameras. I checked the living room camera, only to find that the doll in there was gone too. I was horrified, and for a good reason. Not only because both of the toys moved, but because I didn't know where they were at now. I flipped through the cameras only to find that one with the white hat hidden in one of the bedrooms behind the door, looking out the door as if it were waiting for me or someone to enter. I flipped through the cameras until I saw a camera that said music box. It looked as if it were in the garden, and there was a bar that was almost completely empty. On the camera was the garden, but that gnome that I saw earlier was there. After clicking a few buttons, I charged the apparent music box that was almost empty all the way up. Just then, I felt a sharp pain in my back. The pain that I could not handle as I fell to the floor. I touched my back only to find blood soaked on my hands. I looked up to find that blue-hatted doll looking down at me. It lunged at me and attacked me, but I hit it off with one swing of the broom. However, the bottom part where I swung at it had broken into pieces somehow. "Get back, you fucker!" I screamed as I ran out. I felt something chasing me. When I ran into the living room, I tripped.
something had fucking tripped me. I looked down at what made me trip and I saw another doll. It looked to be wearing a wedding outfit or something. It looked like a doll, but not exactly like the other two I saw. This girl doll had pretty blonde hair and brown eyes. It was made of plastic instead of cotton like the others. She's the reason why I fell. I ran limping, as my left leg and my back were hurting. I ran into a random room down the hall, not remembering which door that white-hatted one was waiting for me from. All the doors were shut, so I took a lucky guess. Luckily for me, it seemed that it was a whole different bedroom. This bedroom looked adultish than the other bedroom. It had its own TV and a bathroom. I didn't see any toys in here, but I knew it would be a matter of time before those dolls eventually found me. I decided with the time I had left, I would find something to help defend myself and escape. While exploring, I found a book hidden in one of the wardrobes of the room. The book was called Time Out. The name sounded very bizarre and honestly kind of stupid, but I didn't have time to look through that said book. Plus, there was a lock on it that restricted me from opening it, and I need to find the key to unlock that said lock. Again, it became very quiet. My pursuers never attempted to get into the room. In fact, not a sound was heard. This gave me more time to look. Surprisingly, in a room this big, not a goddamn thing was found. Only the book was something that I found in that room. They had a big closet near the bathroom door to the room behind the TV. After moving the TV and struggling to get in, the door opened as it scraped on the floor, making a loud scraping noise and coming to a sudden halt. In the closet, I found some things in there. First were 3 VHS tapes that looked in horrible condition, but with a few fixes, I knew they could work. Tons of photos of random people were scattered through the floor of the closet. Upon closer inspection, some of the people in the photos I recognized. I obviously didn't know them in person, but some of these people I knew that went missing around the area that I lived in. Most of them looked like teens, and the weirdest thing was, I found another damn doll. This doll looked like a clown, with blonde hair and a black hat and a sinister smirk on his plastic, freaky, painted face. The doll was just about a foot tall and seemed relatively shorter than the others. Unlike the others, it didn't try to harm me. In fact, it didn't move at all. But it gave me the same weird feeling, so I dropped the doll and continued my search. To avoid getting attacked if this thing were possibly dangerous like the others, I shut the door behind me after a bit of a struggle. The bathroom had nothing in it that was useful, and they did have windows, but they were bolted shut. Even if I broke the glass to escape, it would be dangerous and I probably wouldn't even fit. Just then, I heard something from the other room. In the bedroom that I was just in, I heard a loud, heavy metal banging noise, as something sounded like it fell on the floor. I quietly shut the door without making a single sound. What the fuck was that? I thought. I knew those things had gotten into the room. I needed to find a way out of this bathroom. Now.
Not just the bathroom, the whole damn house. I heard them rummaging around outside, and I knew it'd be a matter of time before those damn things found me. I managed to arm myself with a damn plunger and hid behind the curtain of the shower while I still had time. I remember locking the door, but I heard something wiggling. It sounded like someone was picking a lock to a door. Fuck! I need to play an escape. But what? That's when the door opened suddenly. Those damn things will find me. And I had to act fast. I heard those little footsteps moving around the room. Multiple of them. Then, I felt something watching me. I looked up at the top and saw that little clown doll from earlier on the top of the shower curtain. A loud, inhuman screech erupted from the clown doll. As the curtain swung open, they fucking found me. In a blind panic, I swung the plunger around. I managed to strike some of them, but one of them got a hold of the plunger and busted it and yanked it out of my hands. I tried to run, but one of them grabbed me. I yelled as I fought back. Luckily, I somehow escaped, but I felt myself growing tired, and the pain being almost unbearable. I knew that if I gave up now, I would be dead. These things had murderous intent. Intent to kill and destroy the innocent. While running, I heard glass breaking. Something got into the office. Shit! I forgot to wind the music box. I saw that damn gnome from earlier for just a second before I slammed the door on it and locked it, since it was on my side.
I ran into an already open closet. It was more like a pantry of food than a closet, but close to one. I shut the door quietly to the pantry as I heard the footsteps getting closer. The damn things were laughing. They sounded like they had very terrible voice boxes built into them because the laughing sounded very glitchy. And I started seeing shadows outside. I checked the time. 5:58. Shit, 2 more minutes. Come on. 5:59. I saw the shadows stop moving right in front of the closet. Before the closet door could open, I heard an alarm in the other room go off. As the toys moved on to investigate to the office, I ran the opposite way, and I got out of the living room. Luckily, the living room entrance wasn't already locked anymore, and I escaped into the morning light. This may have sounded stupid, but the whole day home, I thought about returning. Call me crazy, but I want to learn more about those damn toys. Whoever owned the house must have used Craigslist as a trap to lure people into a nightmare. They would trap unsuspecting random people who just wanted to do their job for hours, as both entrances to the house would be locked, and they'd be forced to play a game for 12 to 6 hours. That was what this sick game was all about, and I wanted to find more about that shed, and who or what was in there. I just wanted to find the truth. That's all I wanted out of this. I was resting in my bed when my mind started playing tricks on me. Like, I would imagine seeing things that weren't there, like a small person or things moving around the corner of my eyes. That's when the phone rang. I hesitated for a second, but realized it was some random number. It wasn't a call though, no. It was a voice message.
Kyle. Oh God. Look, I'm sorry for this, okay? But I needed you to work there for a reason. We needed you to work there because those toys will help me in return of killing people like you. Helping in what, you may ask? To help me become stronger, to help me kill off you miserable people. This is what you people get for abandoning me. And not treating me as a person. You honestly sound like a cool guy and a nice person, but it's too late. They followed you. They were here watching you at the very moment. Don't think of running. No, it's simply too late for that now. Your time has simply run out. Feel my pain. Now die!
Before I could even do anything, I realized that my mind wasn't playing tricks on me this whole time. Those images were those damn toys. They surrounded the bed, laughing and giggling with their robotic tones as they got closer. Before they could reach me, I hopped out the window, and one of them unfortunately grabbed my leg. But then I kicked them off before they could do any serious damage to it, luckily. The first thing I did was drive to my car and go to the house. I wondered about something. All the toys were there, except for one, and that was the clown. I didn't see him anywhere in my room. Before I turned into the neighborhood where the house was at, I looked around in the rearview mirror and nearly shit myself. That damn clown doll was in the back seat.
Turn around if you know what's good for you.
I heard a distorted voice say from the doll. The voice sounded human, like a male drinker in his 50s. I hopped out of the car and ran. I would have asked for help, but I didn't want to get the cops involved. I wanted to find out about that damn house by myself. I eventually found the house and rested in front of it to catch my breath. I checked up and down the street to see if I was followed, and luckily, I wasn't followed. I walked quietly to the shed. Who knows if more of those damn dolls were out there, I thought. I reached the shed with a crowbar and picked the lock. After a few errors, it opened. Before I walked in, I took a deep breath and slowly walked into the pitch black darkness. I knew that if someone were in there, they would have noticed me. So, of course, I yelled with a crowbar in my hand. Who's there? Silence, of course. A rotten smell hit my nose. A mix between alcohol and rotten meat. As I found the light switch, I flicked on the light to see if anyone was at least in there, any dolls were in the room. But instead, I saw a workshop. I saw rows and rows of unfinished dolls. Some of the dolls were open to see gears and mechanical parts inside of them. One of them activated behind me and instantly screeched really loudly. Some of the other dolls were almost finished, woke up, and instantly swarmed by all sorts of toys. As they lunged at me and attacked me, I tried to fight them off as hard as I could, but I felt myself getting weaker and weaker as they kept stabbing me and scratching me with whatever hidden weapons were inside those sick fucks. Eventually, I blacked out. I woke up hours later in a small, darker room. The light turned on with the flick of a light. I saw the man who was responsible for all of this bullshit. He looked very skinny, but tall. He had a sinister smile on his face. He said nothing. "Hello? Who are you?" I yelled. He walked into another room as I heard him chuckle. He responded seconds later with, "In my hell." His voice sounded like the one that came from the short clown doll and the phone call. "What are you gonna do with me?" I asked. "I will make you suffer," he responded coldly. He took out a butcher's knife from the old trench coat he wore. He said this to me.
This isn't personal at all. This is a job I must fulfill to destroy all of those who distrusted me. All I want is vengeance.
Before I could do anything, the rope that I was connected with became undone, and I moved out the way. I got stabbed a bit on the left side of my fucking stomach. "This hurts like a bitch," I said, as I ran out of the room. I ran into the dark woods for what felt like hours, as I tripped and hid behind a log. I heard his footsteps run louder and louder and louder, and then quieter and quieter. I had survived this sick man's game of hide and seek, with me nearly dying in it. I eventually ran back, feeling tired from all the blood I was losing. I heard faint sirens out of the woods. I saw red and blue lights as I ran out of the woods and fell hard in the middle of the road. Nearby neighbors ran out of their homes to see what the matter was. They helped me up as I had fallen hard and nearly passed out. The cops were asking me a lot of questions, like what was going on and everything. Those type of questions. I had to go to the hospital get tons of stitches. I can't even tell you the amount of stitches I got because it was that much. I was injured, and apparently if I didn't get any help sooner, I would have died. I'm currently recovering in a friend's place right now as of writing this. Look, stay aware of your surroundings and watch out for what job you find yourself in, especially on Craigslist. And remember, that man and those sick toys are still out there. Most of the toys in the shed were later found and destroyed. What sickens me is that that man is still out there, somewhere, continuing to do the things that he does. I will never work for security anymore. Again. Before I go, I need to say one last thing to y'all. Live every day like it's your last. And stay safe in a world like this. Live your best and safe life. And make sure you know it's safe to do anything, as this world is very dangerous. Hopefully, you won't be his next victim. And I wish you the best of luck.
We needed you to work there, but I needed you to work there for a reason. We needed you to work there because those toys will help me be. Kyle. Oh God. Look, I'm sorry for this, okay? But I needed you to work there for a reason. We needed you to work there because those toys will help me in return of killing people like you. Helping in what you may ask. Wait, what?